Early voting is a major concern for places in Georgia and North Carolina. As we've been talking about, many of the polling places where people would normally go are completely flooded still, and many of those roads are not passable as well. And we know that early voting started, as you mentioned, in Georgia yesterday, and there are still some legal challenges now being figured out. A Georgia judge blocked a rule that would require hand counting election day ballots, as well as ruling clerks cannot hold up the election results for irregularities. They have to certify by the deadline. Are you concerned now about election day ballot issues in swing states like Georgia on top of the hurricane issues?
Well, we've been assured from the Georgia election officials that the problems they had 4 years ago have been resolved. I think if you go back 4 years, the biggest problem with the integrity of the elections was the universal ballot, the universal absentee ballots, where these counties were just mailing out ballots to people, and just miraculously there were people waiting for the arrival of the mailman at a lot of these public housing units in the big cities, and they just had tremendous turnout in these big cities in states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. And as you can imagine, Joe Biden got a record percentage and a record number of votes in those big cities with absentee ballots. Now today, they've cut out the universal ballots in those three states, the three states that the Republicans were most concerned about from the previous election. So I believe one reason the Democrats are in panic and the mainstream media is in panic on TV is they've come to the realization that a lot of these people that voted in the last election, that voted absentee with a universal absentee ballot, they're more than likely not going to vote this election. If you look at the polling and their intensity level. So this is an election where people are going to have to go back the way we always did it. They're going to have to go to the polling place and vote. And because of states like Georgia and my home state of Kentucky, we've made it easier to vote by giving them more days to vote. I think that's going to be our saving grace in Georgia, in those counties that were adversely affected by the hurricane. They're going to have several days to vote, and we just need to continue to hope that the Trump campaign's getting the message out to people. Your polling place has changed because of the storm. You've got 2.5 more weeks to go vote. Please, if you can find time to go vote and beat the lines on Election Day, it's probably a good thing to vote today or early next week.
Yeah, not to put it off. That's such a great point, Congressman, is the messaging because of all of that. And also, you look at polls, a new Reuters Ipsos poll has Harris leading 45% to 42%, obviously very close. This comes after NBC News had them in a dead heat. The race is tight. We know that. So what do you think that the Trump campaign needs to do within these next few weeks?
Well, I think the good sign for the Trump campaign is the fact that those national polls really don't matter as much as the battleground state polls.
Right.
This election is determined by the Electoral College. I believe that Trump is going to win all of the battleground states. And I wouldn't have gone on this show and said that a week and a half ago. I think the momentum's clearly in Trump's direction. And I think that's one reason you can get hints from the Democrats and their message conveyors on the mainstream media. They're now starting to trash the Electoral College, which shows me they believe that Trump's going to win the Electoral College. Whoever wins the Electoral College wins. And a lot of those national polls that show Harris up by 1 or 2 points don't poll Jill Stein and Robert F. Kennedy in those states. And we always, throughout history, those third-party candidates get between 2 and 4% of the vote nationwide. So who is that coming off of? That's coming off of Kamala Harris, too. So I think today Trump's in a good spot. The momentum's on his side. And if you believe in polls, as I do, the trending lines are clearly in Trump's and the Republicans' favor. So I think today everything looks good, but we can't take anything for granted. And people have to vote, and they have to vote early.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That NBC News poll exactly 1 month ago had Kamala Harris up by 5 points, and now they're tied at 48. All right, Congressman James Comer, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.